back. Episode 32, Drop the Green. As always, we'll dedicate this episode to somebody. This week's overview is going to be on the damaged vehicle policy. A lot to talk about there. We're going to recap Talladega, talk about who stood out. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to go predictions, then bets this week. We listened to our viewers.
Yes, we did.
And then we'll close with the Choose Who Zone. As always, my name's Austin.
My name's Spencer.
Let's drop the green. Alright, welcome back everybody. Episode 32 like I mentioned. So I'm going to start off, Spence. I'm going to keep it nice, short, and sweet like I always do.
Do you?
I do, yep. And I promised it, so I'm going to do it. So episode 32, I decided to pick a guy by the name of Ricky Craven. So I think everybody probably has seen this finish. We go to Darlington twice a year, and NASCAR post this video no less than 10 times every time. Now, it's very cool.
There's like a certain finish at every race that they just consistently show. This is one of them.
And this is one of them, for sure. So Ricky Craven was in that 32 car, obviously. Born May 24th, 1966 in Newburgh, Maine.
Newburgh, Maine.
Maine. And I didn't look into it, but he's got to be the only Maine driver. Probably to ever win a race, but maybe just in general.
That's got to be a short list.
I mean, there's only like 10 people that live there
Maine right
to
now.
begin with. But so he grew up racing late models, did a little bit of stock cars in Canada as well. He made his NASCAR debut in 1986 in the Busch Series back then. Has some success, and then in 1995 he ends up going full-time Cup racing to try to win the Rookie of the Year. And he does it. I believe he finished like 12th in points or something. It's pretty impressive. So goes straight from that. And it was a smaller team, but still a good team. So that was 1995, and then ends up getting signed by Rick Hendrick shortly after that, and was in that 25 car.
Yep.
And then they actually changed it to the number 50 for the 50th anniversary of NASCAR, which was kind of weird. But that's just like, I guess they wanted a 50 car. And, so they asked Rick, because even back then he was the guy to do things.
He was the boss?
He was the boss.
Oh, yeah.
He ends up getting hurt in 98. He has to get out of the car. They put some replacements in there. Even Randy LaJoie was a replacement for Ricky Craven. Yeah, back then. Just kind of a fun fact. And then, so that kind of ends up to him losing his ride at Hendrick, just being out of it so long. It's kind of, what have you done for me lately? And he ends up getting released. Bounced around to a few smaller teams, and then ends up getting the 32 car for PPI Motorsports. So that's that car right there.
Nope.
And I recognize that name. I feel like we brought that name up with a Choose Who Zone person, maybe.
PPI?
Yeah. Does that sound familiar to you, or maybe I'm crazy?
No, when I was going through, I read my guy, he went for Indy Petrie. That's the only one I really remember.
Okay.
PPI may have been one.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, but for some reason it sounded familiar to me. But so he ends up racing for them for a handful of years. Really, the main thing with Ricky Craven obviously is this race.
Yeah.
So this was I believe it was like the third or fourth race of the year. Obviously, it's coming down to the last few laps. It's him and Kurt Busch. I mean, they're banging. The cars are all tore up. They're wheeling it. They're sideways. Ricky Craven ends up winning by 0.002 seconds.
Whoa.
So that was,
until Kansas, I guess?
Yeah, until Kansas. So there was a Talladega race. I believe it was that 3-wide finish with that Jimmy won. It tied it. So this one was still the winner because it ties a win. But this stood until Kansas this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. And Busher. Yeah. So you'll love this about, and this is the last thing I have before I give you some stats. So, like I said, I think that was the third or fourth race of that year. He wins it, right? And what do you think he finished in points? 16th, right? No.
23rd.
27th.
Okay.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
It feels better.
Yeah.
That means he just lucked up. He just had a good car that week.
And if he sucked the rest of the year.
He sucked.
He sucked, right?
Yeah.
Novel concept. But so Ricky Craven, born in Newburgh, Maine, 2 Cup wins, 4 Xfinity wins, 1 truck win.
4 Cup wins.
2 Cup wins.
2 Cup wins.
Yeah, 2 Cup wins, 4 Xfinity, 1 truck.
Wow.
Hall of Fame.
No. No.
Did you forget about this finish at Darlington?
I forgot. Okay. I didn't care what happened in 2006.
And I didn't look into it, but I think he just kind of fizzled out of the sport. He was like not a play-by-play, but he was a color commentator for a little while, and then he was on Race Hub for a few years.
Oh, nice.
And then he kind of just disappeared. But yeah, kind of a cool dude. Didn't do anything too crazy, but for somebody from Maine, I mean, what?
Yeah, what more do you expect?
Yeah. So
just glad he got down here to the great country that we all live in, you know, besides Maine. Yeah.
Do you think he's in the Maine Motorsports Hall of Fame? Number one,
he better be.
Number one, is there a Maine Motorsports Hall of Fame?
100% better not be.
Number 2, is it just Ricky Craven?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking that way.
Is it the Maine Motorsports Hall of Fame / Ricky Craven Museum? But anyway, that's what I got. What about you?
Me, I kind of went, I don't even wouldn't call it deep, but how do you say his last name?
Go ahead.
Kvapil?
Just Kvapil.
No way.
Yeah.
No K?
Yeah. Can you say it again, though?
Kvapil?
The other way.
Yeah. Kvapil?
No, I believe it's just Kvapil. That's the way I've always heard it.
Okay.
Yep. It'd be like, wreck on lap 30, Travis Kvapil.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it.
There's a lot of that. No, so this week I chose Travis Kvapil, and I guess a lot of it was just because of his son, who is, I've definitely
Carson
heard his...
See, now I'm thinking it's like Kvapil.
Yeah.
Kvapil. I might have set you up for failure there.
Okay.
Because when I think Carson, they always say like Carson Kvapil.
Yeah.
Kvapil. So maybe it's Travis Kvapil. It's like the V disappeared.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a pronunciation?
One of those 2 consonants are silent. I guarantee you.
We're going to go with
which one?
Travis K.
Travis K. There we go. Travis K. is from Janesville, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I did not know that, no.
Okay. How many guys are from Wisconsin?
Alan Kulwicki.
Yep.
Tom Majeski.
Okay.
Dick Trickle.
They have a nice racing career. They probably have a Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Is Travis Kvapil? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Travis K. is not in there. Okay. He started racing at 16, which was always like, to me, I guess now when you look at drivers, that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't maybe, but that was still 92 when he started racing, which to me you would have to be
way behind.
You would be way behind.
You'd be 12 years behind now.
That's exactly. You'd be way behind. But at his local track in Rockford, at the Speedway, he raced the weekly NASCAR Racing Series. He did that. He won the American Short Track Division track championship in 94. 95, he moved up to super late models at Madison International Speedway and won Rookie of the Year. 1996, he won the track late model champion, so he'd be 20. 98, he went to something, it's ARTGO. I don't know if it's ArtGo. I don't know if they say that.
Oh, no.
He went to that series in 98. And he ran that for like 2 years. And so it's pretty much just a short track asphalt series. I guess they travel around. He did pretty well, nothing crazy. In 2001, so the year after he ended that, in 2001, he made his truck debut. And 21 races later, he won, which I thought was pretty impressive.
Pretty crazy.
At Texas. And that was for Addington Racing. You ever heard of them?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, Addington Racing. He had 18 top 10s that year, finished 4th in the standings.
I feel like I do remember him being like a really good truck guy.
Yeah, so that's what we're about to get into.
Okay.
2002 with Addington again, another win at Memphis, 9th in points. So again, hanging in there. 03 signed with Express Motorsports, won the championship in truck.
That's great, and this was back when there was good people in trucks. It wasn't.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't 16-year-old kids. I mean, this
was.
The Jack Spragues, the Ted Musgraves, all those big dudes were back in there.
Yeah, so he wins the championship that year. He only won one race. It was at Bristol. Wins the championship. 04 goes to Bang Racing. 2 wins, 8th in points. Penske Jasper in 05, 2 top 10s. And on Phoenix, sorry.
Okay.
My notes didn't make sense there.
No, that's all right. Was that in a truck?
Yeah, that was in a truck.
I didn't realize Penske had a truck team.
No, that's what my note is.
Okay.
Number 77.
I got you. Yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the Cup. 2 top 10s that year. So
not bad.
Not bad, but still, every other finish was 27th back.
Yeah.
But 2 top 10s. Then we get to that car that you just showed us a minute ago, the PPI. He raced for them in the number 32. In 06, finished 36th in points, 0 top 10s.
All right.
Yeah. 07 was went back to Roush to race trucks. 4 wins, 6th in points.
Wow.
So the 1 year that he won the championship, he got 1 win. He wins 4, 6th in points.
6th.
Crazy. 08-09 goes back to the Cup Series for Yates. So I guess that would still kind of be Roush.
So Yates
Really?
used to be like the 88 Del Jarrett.
Yeah.
Remember that blue and red car?
Yes.
And then
Was
like
that Yates car?
the 30. I think he was in the 38 after Elliott Sadler left the 38. Didn't Travis? What number was he at? Yates.
38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was in the M&M's car after Elliott Sadler left. But yeah, Yates used to have a race team.
Okay.
Yep. And then they kind of got out of it and just stuck to the engines.
So he did that for 08-09. 08 he had 4 top 10s, which I thought was pretty impressive.
Not bad.
2010, 2011 Front Row Motorsports, not even anything to write down. And then BK Racing, 2012, 2013. And then he had 1 top 10 in 2012 at Talladega. So, again, nothing to write down. And in 2014, that's this car with Go Fast.
Yeah.
So, that is pretty much number 32. He raced there. Again, nothing even worth writing down.
Right.
Dude was kind of abysmal in the Cup Series.
That's an abysmal team in his
defense.
defense.
No, I'm in his defense, but at the same time, it was one of those. A lot of the stuff I was reading and I didn't go into was sponsor related. They would have a 3 race sponsorship deal. After that, they'd have to find another one, and
scrounge.
Scrounge around, and he wasn't finishing well. It was like it was tough for him, but I just wanted to give a shout out to him, and we'll see what his son does, because his son looks like the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah.
And looks good.
And it's funny, and I think he was on the Del Jarrett download. I didn't listen to it all, but it's funny. We kind of got some of these guys that maybe scrapped and scraped to get through Cup, or just took rides, and it's almost like they were preparing to make their kids wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You look at Dave Blaney, who obviously was an amazing sprint car driver, but was racing stuff just like this in Cup, and now look at his son Ryan.
Yep.
Even Randy LaJoy, Corey LaJoy.
Did the same thing for him. They paved the way.
Paved the way.
Yeah.
One other thing that's really crazy, this would be an interesting stat. I don't know how you'd ever find it. If I understood you correctly, he raced the number 32 twice.
Yes.
For 2 different teams?
Yep.
Yeah. Who else has done that?
The same car number for 2 different teams?
The same car number for 2 different teams.
No one's coming to mind, but it'd have to be this error when they were switching these numbers. It'd have to be a number like 32 that switches around.
But what are the odds the guy lands at the same team that keeps the number, too?
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is
weird. Just a weird little thing.
Yeah.
He's got to be the only one.
Yeah.
Or one of the few.
Mm-hmm.
So
got to be less than 3.
Yeah. All right. Is that all you had?
That's all I had.
Well, I bet everybody learned something there, because those are some obscure ones.
Yes, they are.
If y'all weren't confused already, are you ready to get confused?
Yeah, dude. This is about to get nuts. I wrote down some questions. I cannot wait.
Well, let me preface this by saying there's a lot of stuff about and we're talking about our overview here. So this week I decided we would do the damaged vehicle policy.
Yeah.
Seemed like no better time. Now, I will say, and I'll take a little responsibility, maybe I didn't dig hard enough, But there's a lot of questions I had that I could not find an answer to.
Okay.
And part of me thinks maybe those answers are out there. A larger part of me thinks that those are like things NASCAR just doesn't say.
100%.
Could you imagine that they?
Oh no, that's great. We saw that this weekend.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of why we're going to get into it. So if you don't mind, I'll touch on what the damaged vehicle policy is, and
then as we get through our conversation, we need to touch on the controversy that happened at Talladega.
Yeah.
Because that was the big thing of why we wanted to do this.
Yes. So I'll bring you up to speed, and then at the end we'll touch on what happened at Talladega. So the damaged vehicle policy only got started in 2017.
Whoa,
so very new. Before then, it was kind of a lawless game. So, I mean, if let's say you absolutely destroyed your car, I mean, you could take it back in the garage. You could put a new nose on it. You could put a new rear end. You could put a whole new side.
Almost like F1.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not.
I know F1 changes a ton of parts. Granted, there's not a lot of body parts to change on those open wheel cars, but I have seen them take I guess it would be the front nose. Yeah. Completely, like it just clips and throw a new one on. Okay. If it gets damaged. Okay. I've seen that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
You see what I'm talking about? Like in that. I mean, granted, it's 10 times smaller than what we're dealing with.
And they're designed to do that, right?
Yes.
So this would be like back in the day.
You're taking a Sawzall.
Yeah, you're taking a Sawzall and then you're like taping a new front clip on.
Yeah.
Or like maybe you pull it behind the garage, or maybe you just take the fenders, hood, and everything off, and you run half speed just to get laps in. So NASCAR decided that's kind of dumb. Now, I don't disagree.
Yep.
A big one that comes up that people are talking about on social media right now, 1997, the Daytona 500, Dale Earnhardt flipped his car, with 10, 15 to go or something like that, crazy. So he gets out of it, he looks at it, and he tells the safety worker, he's like, see if it'll start up. It started up.
And he got back in.
He said, get the F out of my way.
Yeah.
He got back in, drove it down pit road. They put what had to have been 300 pounds of tape on it. And they taped it up, and he went back out to race, right? That's awesome. That's a cool story. That's like the legend of Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
But that is one of the most unsafe things.
Yes.
Can you imagine getting up to, if he ever even got up to like 180, 190 miles an hour, that deck lid flying off, going over the fence, doming somebody.
Yeah.
And that's not a crazy thing. That's definitely possible.
So
that's
many
definitely
things
possible.
Loose on that car.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say that the wheels are even intact now?
Yeah, like you have no idea.
Control arms. I mean, everything could have just let loose on it. So.
And so that's how we started with this damaged vehicle policy. So it started in 2017. They've modified the rules a little bit, but I'll go by today's rules. So let's say you get in an accident, right? Once you come down pit road, the clock starts.
Yeah.
And you have 10 minutes to work on your car.
Yep.
Right? So you have 10 minutes. You can't add anything. It's basically just tape, fasteners, and then you can't replace any parts.
But you can cut them
off. Now that we're in next gen, they will allow you to replace a toe link.
Okay.
If you can, right? If that thing's not bent so much that it kinks in there, and it puts it in a bind, they will let you replace the toe link. So that's really the only stipulation. So once you see this a lot, right? Like a car comes on pit road, they fix it, they leave pit road, but then they come back down.
For another.
So once they leave pit road, the clock stops. So let's say you had 2 minutes, clock stops. You come back down.
You have 8.
As soon as you enter pit road, it starts over again.
Okay.
All right. So once you do all that.
And they're doing this, in case you didn't know, they're doing this so they don't lose laps.
So they don't lose laps, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That would be, to me, the only reason that you
The only reason you keep moving back and forth, right?
Okay.
So then once you think you have it fixed, you go out there. If it's green, you have to meet minimum speed. And I know that's based off lap time, right?
Okay.
I could not find, and maybe it's out there, I don't know. I don't think it is. I could not find how many laps you get to make minimum speed. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, of course you're not gonna make minimum speed on lap 1.
No, because you're coming out getting up to speed.
You're coming out. Lap 2, I would say it has to be under 5 to me.
Yeah.
By 5, that should be your speed.
Right.
Whatever it is.
And that's another issue that we'll get into in Talladega is because they let all those guys go and there wasn't even enough laps left for them to make minimum speed, right?
Yeah.
If they were going to. So I'll do a little bit more research on that, but I couldn't personally find it. I would imagine it might change depending on track too.
100%. If it's Darlington,
or Bristol compared to a Talladega, it might be a different set of laps because it just depends on.
That's such a NASCAR rule too.
Yeah, and we have no clue.
Yeah.
So kind of part of the damaged vehicle policy is what we're going to get into today and what we saw at Talladega. So if you get in a wreck, the rule has been since 2017, you have to get yourself down pit road.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you cannot continue your day, you're done right there.
They tow you to the hauler.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
You're done.
You're done.
Which really wasn't a problem, not a huge problem until next gen. Before we had this car we had now, we had bigger tires and there's an inner liner in it, right? So even if you had a flat tire, you had something to roll on. Mm-hmm. Okay, well now we went to this small tire, small sidewall. There's not even room for an inner liner.
Especially how low they run them.
And how low they run them, right? So now what we run into is, if you have all 4 tires flat, you can't get back to pit road. You can't
move. We've seen it from everyone.
And especially if you stop.
Yes.
So kind of the rule they've implemented since 22 is like, we'll give you a push. If a push can do it, that's fine.
Seems fair.
Seems fair.
I'm totally okay with that.
Well, then we've had all these sometimes they don't push, sometimes they do push.
The problem is we put it to NASCAR's discretion.
Right. So you know it's going to get screwed up.
Yes.
Immediately.
Because every time they make a rule up to NASCAR's discretion, literally instantly, that thing that they never thought would happen, which we've talked about 1,000 times on here, happens.
Yeah.
It happens instantly.
Every time.
Yeah.
And so kind of the other caveat to this is, let's say you spin out, you flatten all 4 tires, and you can't move. Well, if NASCAR deems that you did not make contact, whether that be with the wall, 1 car, 2 car, 3, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't.
Right? So you look back, and I can't remember what race it was. Blaney had a steering issue. Mm-hmm. Right? So he could not get his car back. Now, whether he could have fixed that or not, we don't know. But NASCAR came over there. They said, basically, they had their officials being like, well, move. Can you move? And he's like, no. And they're like, they done.
Yeah.
Josh Berry.
That was the big one.
That's
from
the
last
big one,
week.
right? And so he had 4 flat tires, couldn't move,
barely made contact with.
But NASCAR deemed that contact by
towed him to the garage.
Towed him to the garage. So everyone griped and moaned and complained, rightfully so. But what NASCAR did was follow their rule.
Finally,
whether that rule's ridiculous or not, they followed the rule, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be like, okay, at least they followed the rule.
Yes.
If we can hang on to anything, NASCAR finally followed their own rule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then we get into Talladega. No less than a week later.
Yeah.
It's been 6 days.
They should have known after they did something like that. They should have known something crazy like this was coming.
And so they suddenly decided to tow the 9, the 14, maybe a few others, but definitely they started with the 9.
Yes.
Which
towed him right back to pit road.
Right back to pit road.
And again, before you
get
into it,
I'm pretty much
the biggest issue is that this always happens to a hindered driver.
Yeah.
The rules are always bent for them, and I don't understand. And it consistently happens with the 9 car.
Yeah, and it's hard, and
harder to keep defending them.
And let's say it's been a coincidence every time.
No.
We'll say that it's a pretty weird coincidence.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a pretty weird coincidence. So they suddenly changed the rule this week, right? And that does call. I talked a lot about fixing the car, but what we're talking about does fall under the DVP. To get onto the DVP, you have to meet this qualification we're talking about,
yes.
Right? So they hauled Chase back, and that started their DVP. Where the week before last, Josh didn't even get to be on the DVP.
No.
When all it would have took him was a 10-second tires. You know what I mean?
He would have easily been 1 lap down.
Yeah.
Back to competing with everyone. Not to say that he was going to win the race by any means,
but
he definitely would have finished higher than what he was.
Yeah, he would have finished 1 lap down at worst instead of 200 whatever.
Yeah.
His day was done. Mm-hmm. So that's where it's weird. And I know that's a little bit off of what we're talking about but like I said, you have to meet that criteria to get on DVP. So that falls under the damaged vehicle policy, is being able to move, yada, yada, yada. NASCAR's had a wrench thrown at them with this next-gen car, something they brought down on themselves because they designed the car. But, they need to decide, like, if the rule is the rule and Josh Berry's day was over, I can swallow that.
Yeah.
I don't like the rule, but that's the rule.
Then everyone that should have wrecked at Talladega, their day should have been done.
Yeah. Did you hear Josh Berry when he got out of the media center?
Oh, yeah.
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 And that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
So
if you're gonna do that to me, exactly like you just said, whatever the rule is, we'll abide by it. But you can't make alter moves just because the playoffs are in contention and one of the drivers that you want to get to the championship for happened to be in that accident.
Right.
In the 9.
So once again, I feel like every overview falls back to this. We just changed the rules mid-race because of the format.
Yes.
Did we not?
Yes.
Because there's playoff drivers involved.
Yes.
Josh Berry, not a playoff driver.
Not involved.
They could.
Yeah.
His day's over. We don't care.
Yeah.
Why would we care? All of a sudden, playoff drivers get involved. We're just gonna start towing people back. The funny thing is, like, they do that, and I bet they're sitting there like, maybe no one will notice.
No, there's no way they're sitting there.
I think they're that dumb.
Oh
I think not only are they that dumb, they think we're that dumb. Yeah.
That's the worst part.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
They think we're that stupid.
Yeah. And maybe some
I'm
people
stupid. I ain't that stupid.
Agree.
Especially they're doing it because they're like, oh wait, he's the most liked driver. We'll tow him. Maybe no one will notice. Everyone that hates that guy, like you either are on the 70% train of the fans that love him, or you're in the 30% that absolutely can't stand him. I feel like there's not a lot of people.
No, there's not people in between. And what's funnier is the more they do stuff like you're talking about, the more you're gonna make people hate the guy.
Yes.
And like, it's not Chase Elliott's fault.
No.
It's not like Chase Elliott. Just as much as I don't like him, he just exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't ask for any of this.
No, he didn't
at all.
No.
And like, you're just going to pin more important, not only against him, but against the whole sport.
Yes.
So, and they did it for other guys too. It wasn't just the 9.
No, I know.
But I think the 9
started it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You push the snowball down the hill with the 9 car.
Yes.
And everybody else
goes. And so, I mean, it literally should have been one of those that damaged vehicle policy should have been in place. If they cannot do the push. Do the push and see. Do the push and see. If everyone gets going on the push, I have no problem with it. But if you're going to start towing cars now, after exactly what you did last week was, hey, we had to tow because he couldn't get mowing. He goes straight to the garage. We have not towed a car to pit road all year.
Right.
Or maybe even since this has been in policy. I don't know.
Well, like I said, if you spin by yourself and flatten all 4 tires, they will tow you back.
They'll tow you back. Okay.
Right. Which
clearly
is crazy to me because, like, if you absolutely run out of talent, wreck and spin yourself and hit nobody, no penalty. But if you're taken out due to somebody else's BS and all you have is 4 flat tires, now you're getting punished.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No. I see exactly what you mean.
Sense.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. But if that's the rule, let's follow it.
Yeah.
Let's follow it. So
okay.
And. God, before we move on, there were 28
cars
in that wreck, and oh my gosh, almost half of them went back out there.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is they didn't want to get caught with their pants down.
Yeah.
Because they were all in the grass, too.
Yeah. To me, did they red flag it?
Well, that's the other thing is they red flagged it, and then they put the yellow flag on. They didn't let the cars move that didn't get involved in the wreck, and they were dragging everybody else back to pit lane and letting them work on the car.
While they're under red flag.
No, they were under yellow flag. Yeah, that's the thing. So the guys that didn't get in the wreck were stuck on the backstretch with the yellow flag. Like they raised the red.
Yeah.
They put the yellow out, and they said, "Pace car, don't move the pace car." Meanwhile, everybody in the wreck is working on their cars. Well, everybody else not in the wreck is sitting behind a pace car that won't move.
Yeah.
And the yellow flag's out. So that, like, unrelated to DVP, it was a complete cluster.
Yeah.
All around.
And again, it should not be that hard to officiate these races. They make it so much harder than it ever should be.
I agree.
Consistently.
They have more people to officiate that race than any other racing series in America.
Yes.
And I'm not saying other racing series don't screw up, but like NASCAR royally screws up. Like there's probably like 2 people that officiate a dirt race that is absolute complete chaos all the time. And I've never seen anything like absolutely as insane as Talladega.
No.
I mean, it just made no sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I'm going to ask you one thing. Do you see a purpose for the DVP based off what I told you earlier, and is there a fix to it?
Yes, there's a purpose. I'm totally with the fact of course, you flip a car, you should not go back out there.
Right.
You know, to Dale Earnhardt. Cool that he did that, like you said.
Yeah.
Legend. But no, that shouldn't happen probably ever. I'm totally fine with the push. It's just be consistent on your rules. I think that's the fix. I'm not saying that the policy's horrible.
Yeah.
I feel like they've put in things. The only discrepancy is that I have is NASCAR gets to make the call if you hit the wall or you hit another car.
Right.
It's
a judgment call.
It's a judgment call. I don't like judgment calls that much. I know that's in officiating everywhere, but to me, they should just be more certain on their judgment calls. If he's got a bent-in wheel, he's probably done. You know what I mean? If he looks fine, let him try. Let him try, and then you have other rules in place that get him back to the garage. If he can't make minimum speed, he can't do other things, he's back. You know, they're done. I'm all for letting them try it, but at the same time, when you say if you're hooking a car up to tow, you have to take them to the garage. You cannot change it in the middle of the year. That's the biggest one.
Right.
You can't change it in the middle of the year because, I mean, Chase got to finish.
He did. Not bad either.
Not bad, but imagine how many points he would have been down now. I mean, he's still to the good, but not by much.
No.
I mean, so it's like one of those you're just setting yourself up for us to question everything you do every single time you do it, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to sit here and come and question everything that our officiating does, but golly, that's what they do.
I know, and
that's what they do.
I don't want to come here and believe this or not, Spencer. I don't want to come in here and complain.
Yeah, that's
and you know me, I love to complain.
Yes, you do.
But I really don't want to come in here and do it. I really don't, because I mean, I love watching, but it's like sometimes I'm like, God, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So I think my solution, and we'll move on. You know, NASCAR is the one that designed this car, so they obviously have a team of engineers that have developed this car. Take those same engineers and say, give me the minimum criteria of what this car needs to look like to be raceable, right?
Yeah.
Like what realistically can we expect the car to look like either after a wreck or after fixed that we deem it safe, right?
Yes.
If you're smart enough to design it, you're smart enough to tell me that, okay? Once we set that parameter, let's work backwards. How long is that going to take?
Yeah.
Is that 5 minutes? Is that 10 minutes that we have now?
Is that 30?
Is that 30?
Yeah.
Do we let them take it behind the wall?
Yeah.
The other thing I forgot to mention that is worth noting, if you have a mechanical issue, the DVP goes out the window.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. You're through the wall. You can go. Yeah, that mechanical issue, you can come back, though.
You can come back, but that mechanical issue can't be related to an accident. So
yeah.
If your steering just goes out, take it behind the wall, work on it for half the race.
Yeah.
If your steering goes out because you got in a wreck like Blaney, then you have to get it back to start the DVP, right?
Yeah.
So just want to make that clarification. But let those engineers say, what's our minimum criteria of what this car needs to look like or perform like, and then we'll work backwards how long that takes.
Yes. The more
we spent millions of dollars to get here, I don't know why we can't spend a week or two doing that.
Yeah, to me, the fix is more criteria to where you can put people in different categories, even if you have to have like a 1 through 5. So you have a 1 through 5. Hey, Chase was a type 1, so he gets to be not maybe even towed back is type 1, you know. But we have ranges of what they can do, how long they can work at. More criteria, the better. Because then you can look and go, hey, he doesn't meet this, so he doesn't get this.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, because now they're, like you said, they're just all up to their judgment call.
Yeah.
And I think they have the worst judgment ever, because when there's judgment involved, there's bias every single time.
Yeah, and you're relying on track workers that are not traveling.
Yes.
I mean, those guys are local. So give those. It's just like any job, right? Like if you have a construction or landscaping job, you send somebody out to quote a job, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully this isn't too far of a stretch, but you hire somebody to quote jobs. You don't send them out there and say like, just let me know. You send them out there with a sheet of criteria, right?
I need
what's
this,
the square
I need
footage?
this.
What's the materials? What's the so we need
When
to
you
develop,
give the bid.
When you give the bid, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
you need, like you said, we need to develop that process and then give that process to those officials. So whether that's you, me, someone at Bristol, someone at Texas, that stays the same every time.
Yeah, and yes, try to get your criteria short enough that it doesn't take 30 minutes to check.
Like don't
but
make a
at the
book
same
out of
time, at the same time, I'm more fine with that race sitting under red and them getting everything right than we are to rush to get yellow back.
Yes.
I've always been down with that. Take as much time as you need. I hate that they go around in under caution laps all the time. Red flag a race, they are scared to use the red flag.
They are.
They will not use the red flag. I don't understand why.
And when they do that,
it's
they'll screw it up.
It's literally just a pause.
Yeah.
More ad time. I don't know why they wouldn't love something like that,
I
but
know.
whatever, because they love a good ad time, especially when there's 10 to go.
I agree.
Wave the red flag, check everything, not take forever, but do your due diligence. Do your due diligence on these things. Put in that criteria. The racing will get so much better because now the fans know there will be no massive uproar, and whoever wins, wins.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to stop you there because you're making way too much sense.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
And that's not what the S in NASCAR is for. It doesn't stand for sense.
It doesn't. No.
But we'll move into good thing here. We've already started the Talladega recap.
Yep.
But I'll go ahead and ask you good race rating.
I give it a 7-1.
7-1.
Yeah.
I was thinking 7-2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the same boat. Super Speedway's not my type, as you guys know, but it still has a special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is cool to see them do that, especially going as fast as they can possibly go, 4 wide. That's awesome. It is.
It is. Yeah.
So
that was my question. So obviously we know they were saving. It seemed like maybe not as much, but definitely still savings. That was still the strategy. But they were 4 wide for a long time. Is that still cool to see, even if it's fuel mileage?
yeah. Okay. I mean, there's just to me it's harder. It's way harder to do. So single file is pretty easy. You're just staying behind.
Yeah.
If you have to worry about who is on your outside, if you're the car inside, you're not just worried about what that car's doing. You need to worry about the other two because they cause, a chain reaction that may get you hurt,
Yeah.
So
it's still sketchy.
It is.
I saw a lot of fans complain about it. They're like, oh, well, it looks cool until you find out why it's really that way because of the fuel mileage, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that point of it. But then I look back and we went to Bristol, right, in the spring. And I don't know if you remember, but for a while, they were 2x2 for 10 laps.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, my God, that's so awesome. Well, the only reason they were 2x2 is because they were all saving tires, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really be hypocritical and be like, saving. To me.
And to me, if you really want to save, you're not going to run in the front anyway.
Right.
Doesn't matter where you go. They're doing it for track position plus fuel mileage.
Yes.
That's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if you run 27th in the very back of a single file line. You're not saving enough fuel to make that into a 10th place spot. You're not. There's just,
right.
I mean, maybe you are. I don't know.
It doesn't seem possible.
If it seemed possible, they would do it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't go 4 wide because there's so many mistakes that can be made. It just takes somebody.
Yeah,
and it doesn't even have to be
hard.
their fault. The air could change. The one car could just bounce up a little bit, throws the air off another one. Next thing you know, the dude's got to run to the car on the outside, and he's turned the car left.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I that's how I felt about it too. I mean, 4 wide's still hard. I mean,
yeah,
they're still going. They might be saving fuel, but they're still going pretty fast.
Yeah.
I know this car has problems. It's hard to pass even on super speedways, but I feel like we also have to, we have to be realistic, and we have to not every race is going to be great. I remember when they first started kind of changing the package mid 2000s or so, people were griping like they are now, but we didn't have social media. So I think that's what a lot of people have to say, and even like newer fans, that think it's all doom and gloom. Like, people have been griping about NASCAR since 1948.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we can't make progress and there's not problems with the car, but like, it is absolutely unrealistic to just think every race is going to be amazing.
No, 100%.
So we had the biggest one that you mentioned, 28 cars. I put thanks Brad. Did Brad? Because I do feel like, now whether this one was his fault or not, I feel like Brad gives some monster pushes that cause wrecks.
Dude, he loves to push, man.
He posted to SMT and claims that he was on the brakes off the throttle. Now, he was getting pushed by, but it's kind of like one of those things. It's like they used to say about Ross. It's like, if you in it enough, like, you're going to be guilty every time.
Yes.
Right?
That's Brad.
He's
on always near it. He's always near it.
He's always giving some ridiculous push.
He's giving and to me, honestly, it's not a bad strategy on a super speedway, because as we've seen, if you cause the wreck, you're normally in good shape.
Yeah.
When you're racing there and we haven't seen a big one yet, if I'm Brad, I'm going to be even if I don't cause it, I'm going to be around it probably.
Right.
Might as well cause it because it normally works out.
Yeah, because you wreck the guy and move on.
Exactly.
Every time.
That's what he did.
Yeah. And then he almost won.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe that is his strategy.
Maybe so. And honestly,
he's playing chess, not checkers.
Exactly. Who what's it to him that he gets a couple bad Twitter?
At this point,
yeah.
Because every time we go to Super Speedway, I'm telling you, I don't think this one was necessarily his fault, but 99% of them are.
Yeah.
Like, he just gives people stupid pushes.
Yes.
And then he's like, I thought I could push there. It's like,
yeah, no.
You pushed everywhere.
Yeah.
How do you not know by now what causes a wreck?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think I'll still blame Brad, honestly.
We have to.
It's just funnier.
It was his fault.
Yeah, it was his fault.
Yeah.
And last thing, another playoff spoiler. What'd you think about that? Surprise, not surprise? I know we'll get into our excitement towards the end, but
yeah, and I don't know if you had this
the winner
wrote down, but I think we can talk about it now. You're talking about the winner. The biggest thing that I saw on social media this week was the fact that, like, everyone was talking about how Larson didn't push Brad.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's not that big of an issue. Like, that's been the consensus through the entire sport, that manufacturers are only going to push other manufacturers.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what is Kyle Larson doing not pushing Brad to a win? Well, he had William Byron and Chevy, Ricky Stenhouse above him. Of course, he's not going to do anything to jeopardize that.
Right.
So, to me, Ricky was right spot, right time. He made it through. He's good here. We gambled on him. We knew it was going to happen.
Right, yeah.
That's what happens. When I gamble, we win.
Well, at one point, Larson pushed Brad out to clear Ricky.
Yes.
And I don't know why Brad didn't
move up.
Yeah, didn't move up. Because you're not going to get two Chevys to stop pushing, right?
No.
And Ricky doesn't care.
No.
Ricky doesn't care at all.
Ricky's going to push somebody.
Yeah.
He's going to push somebody to try to get out in front of Larson, so Larson will push him.
Exactly.
That's what he's going to try to do.
And like you said, it's nothing new. I mean, I hate to put it this way, but whether it's OEM or teams, there's always been orders, right?
Yes.
And once again, I hate to put it this way, but Dale Earnhardt died at Daytona trying to block so his 3 cars could win.
Yeah.
And that was 24 years ago. So I mean, this is not new. It was happening before then. I did see someone, and I haven't fact checked this, but as a Larson fan, I'm going to believe it. They said that SMT showed that Larson was full throttle all the way.
I mean, I believe that, and we've seen that. As we know, Larson's not a good super speedway racer, so I could totally understand that he couldn't get back to the back bumper of Brad.
Yeah,
and we've seen the only guys that are good at that are the guy in the 2, the guy in the 12, and the guy in the 22. That's the only dudes that are
backing up, timing it.
So good.
Yeah.
They're so good at that. They're the only ones that I would ever trust to push anybody to a win. Honestly, if you
Not
had
Brad?
to have it. No. Yeah, if you want to spin out. Brad's really good at making you spin, but I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. As far as playoff spoiler goes, I figured that would happen.
Yeah.
At Talladega, I mean, again, the only one I really saw that was going to luck up and do something would probably be one of the Penske cars just because they're so good. So like a Joey or Austin Cindric. And Cindric looked like he was going to do that, plug himself in, and then he got in front of Brad K.
I don't know how Cindric always does that, because I mean, it's like obviously they qualify well, which I put that more on the team, right?
Yeah.
I think the drivers will admit that too, but he just absolutely controls super speedway races.
He knows so.
Until he gets, but does he, or does he just never make it to the end to where he has to prove he knows what he's doing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I feel like most of the times he gets put out is because of a Brad.
Yeah.
You know, the sad thing is like sometimes he will be so far ahead he will lose his team. You know, we've seen it the best when it's Penske there, but he'll take any Ford, and sometimes it always just happens to be Brad K. It really, I would love to go back and actually look at the ones that he's wrecked out in, that he's, you know, been in contention all day for. I'd say there's a high % chance Brad Keselowski was behind him. I would. Well, that's just what it feels like.
No, it does. But to be fair, when he won the Daytona 500, he kind of wrecked Ryan Blaney to do it.
Yes.
So
yeah,
I don't know. It might just be a complete coincidence, but it just feels weird.
It does.
That I feel like he controls every super speedway, and then he never wins them.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But he's won a Daytona 500.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He wrecked Ryan Blaney to do it.
Yeah, well,
his teammate.
Sucks to suck.
I couldn't agree more. You get on? You want to move on?
No,
to standouts?
Yeah, let's go on.
Okay.
Let's go on.
So I'm still keeping track of Carson Corey.
Yep.
I can't help myself. But we're 22-9.
Oh.
The more important one, Justin Haley and Corey are now tied 1-1.
1-1.
So I think that's kind of a win for Justin, because I feel like this was a coin flip.
Yeah, it was.
So now
he had to have this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you thinking 6-1 now?
Yeah, that's what I said last week. 6-1.
I thought you said 5-4.
You wrote down 6-1 on the paper that I looked at earlier.
That was your paper.
No, it was your nasty chicken scratch handwriting. I guarantee it was yours.
Okay. I think he could. I think it'll depend on the. See, we're going to the Roval. Corey, do you feel like he's like sneakily good on road courses, or is it just me?
That's you.
But I'm not sticking up for the guy. Don't make it sound like that. But he qualified well at a few of them.
Are those finishes top 10? I mean, I think Justin Haley's sneakily good. You know what I mean?
I think he's sneakily good everywhere.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think if you put him in that 7 car, he's going to have more potential than he does in that
51.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I mean, I just do. And to me, Corey could finish 10th, but I could see Justin Haley finishing 7th.
Yeah.
You know, and you'd be like,
if Corey were to finish 10th.
If Corey were to exceed what he's supposed to do. I mean, we know that car. I'm pretty sure that Justin Haley in that 51 got a top 10 at Chicago.
He got second place the first year of Chicago in that 51. Or no, that was a Colleague car.
Colleague car.
But he did get a top 10 in the Rick Ware car.
Did he not?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Okay. So
he did.
We know that car has top 10 speed at a road course.
Right. So now it's up to Corey.
Now it's up to Corey.
God, that's such a good point.
And I don't think I trust Justin Haley.
I think Corey's the first caution this weekend. Honestly, I wish you could bet on that.
I wish you could too.
All right, so moving right along. So Denny kind of lucked into a top 10. Am I wrong?
Yeah, for sure.
Like finally, he has some good luck because he got shuffled out of the draft or decided to pull out, didn't work, and then was screwed all day, and then was so far behind he missed a 28 car pileup.
Yep.
So good for him.
Good for him.
Larson actually not just finished one, finished 4th.
Yep.
I feel like that's a win.
That is a win.
So maybe he's good at super speedways now.
No.
2025 Daytona 500 champion, Kyle Larson. He knows it. He's got it.
No, he doesn't.
He's got it.
He doesn't know it.
Are there odds on that right now?
No.
God. All right. Moving right along.
Yeah,
you don't want to humor me.
No.
All right, so our 4 below the cut line, we've got Joey minus 13, Suarez minus 20, Cindric minus 29, Briscoe minus 32. I think those are your 4 out. What do you think?
The only one that makes me nervous is Cindric. I think Cindric's gonna have a good day, dude.
He's gonna have to basically win.
Again, here's what I think changes. I think Chase has a bad day. Chase is only 13.
Chase Elliott.
Yes, I think Chase Elliott.
The Roval merchant.
Allegedly, still haven't seen him win in the next gen.
That's true.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I think he has a bad day. And when I say a bad day, like,
15.
Okay, let me back up. It depends how Cindric races this. If Chase qualifies in the top 10, you have to go for the win. Because that, to me, is like the only spot you can take. And so if you have to go for the win, you're missing stage points. And so if I'm Chase, I'm just getting stage points, hoping Cindric doesn't win. That's all you're doing. Is if you're running top 5 and you see the 2-car pass you put him in the wall. You do something like that. True. But if Chase doesn't, if he qualifies 21st, 15th back, if I'm Austin Cindric, I think he'll qualify top 10. I do, no matter where Chase does. I think he qualifies top 10. But I'm getting stage points, and I'm just going to see where I can land and force the hand of Chase Elliott to work. You know what I mean? Because he would if he qualifies outside the top 10 within that first stage, he's got to get to at least 10th. Yeah. If he's 8 cars back, dude, we don't exactly know how the racing will be with the configuration change, but I don't know if he can do that anymore. I just don't. I don't know if he has the will to be that much better than everyone else to get up to 10th. And that's not to say that Austin Cindric qualifies 7th and it gets up to 3rd. 3rd to 10th, you're doing that difference every time. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's going to make it way closer.
Yeah, 29 seems. I still feel like he needs somebody to have, like he needs like Joey to have bad luck.
He can have, but again, even if Joey has bad luck, he's only going to move up one spot. Chase is only 13 to the good.
Right. That's 13 positions.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. But imagine if you get that.
And take 29 away from that.
Imagine if you get that straight off the rip, though. Changes it.
I just feel like. This is just me. I feel like Suarez, Cindric, and Briscoe are too far down. Once we get into stage 2, I think that almost puts them in a must-win situation.
Okay.
Just with stage points. So I'm already counting them out. And then it just depends on what kind of day Joey has and whether someone like Chase has a bad day.
Yeah.
And Joey's not like absolutely spectacular here.
No.
So I think our 4 below are our 4 out. That's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Because I think like 29, if you talk about it right now, it's not mathematically must win. But I think once you get into stage 1, stage 2,
it's a mathematically
must win. Yeah, because even once they're, he can finish second in a stage, but if somebody else in the playoffs wins a stage, then it's like it almost negates itself and you're still down, and then you have less time to get points.
I mean, so what if Cindric comes out and wins stage 1 and Chase doesn't get any stage points? That's what I'm saying. The gap.
That's what he needs.
That's exactly what he needs.
But that's a very specific scenario.
I mean, it is, but we see them happen all the time.
You're also not considering that AJ Allmendinger is the true merchant of the Roval.
I'm also not considering that SVG is racing.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be your top 2.
We could go into bets, but
yeah.
I mean,
no, I'm with you. All right. Well, we can't go into bets because we're going to go into predictions.
Yeah.
JD.
Fair. So I thought that kind of was predictions a little bit.
You know what? Semantics.
Okay.
Well, let's just talk about the. Let's talk about the configuration here.
Can we pull up the new one or the old one first?
Pull up the old one.
Okay. If you guys can't see this, 17 turns. I still think it's 17 turns somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how they. I don't know how they finagled that one.
But and I can let Austin talk more about it. But if you can see turns, come in so you can see on the TV if you're watching YouTube. If you can see turns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, those have been pretty much complete. At least this half.
I think they kept. They kept 2, 3, 4, and then
it's like a more straighter shot
after 5.
5.
Yeah.
After 5, it's more of a so you don't have this 6 and 7. They cut this down, and then you have 7 down here. And so, you want me to show them the new one?
Yeah, show them the new one. And hopefully we were right. And I don't know why they changed. I mean, I have my speculation on why they changed it.
Yeah, it still has 17 turns, which is wild.
Yeah. So they're kind of counting 6 as like a sweeping turn almost.
Almost like a carousel at the Glen.
I guess. But then you got this hairpin at 7 that I think is going to be...
Dive Bomb City?
I think so. I mean, maybe not off the jump. I think you'll have people screw up on accident and wreck people there.
Yeah.
And then, like 20 to go, then people will just be
dive bombing
it. And then they made this chicane right before the start-finish line a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't think the picture shows it very well, but I know they definitely did.
I want to see how they still got 17 turns. I guess they're calling it 15 a turn.
Yeah, so it does. The only thing that changed, so if you remember that other graphic, number 5, turn 5 was still in the same place.
Yes.
And then
it went...
Nope. Right there. That was
here.
6. That was 6, and then it went straight down. That was 7. So 7 is still the same, but now...
So they're calling this
that's what I'm saying.
6 a turn.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a sweeping turn.
Yeah.
That I don't know how they're... Maybe it's more aggressive in person, but that is...
Doesn't look that aggressive.
Does not look like a turn.
It looks like it's on the exact same line as turn 8 here, but I guess we call that a turn.
Yeah, I guess if we're calling that a turn, we call it a 6 a turn.
Yeah, 6 a turn.
Seems like a stretch either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're going to have a ton of speed. I mean, you got to think they're... Unless I'm crazy, you're not braking for turn 6.
You're probably letting off the gas.
Maybe burping it a little bit.
Maybe like right in here, 3/4 of the way through.
You're not letting up for turn 8.
No, you're not letting
9.
No, you're not.
You're really getting off the brakes. You're getting on the brakes after turn 9.
Yeah.
To get into that chicane. Right, so I don't know. I'd be interested to see. That just doesn't seem like a turn like to me.
Or a braking turn, I guess is what you're saying.
A braking turn.
We have made the decision. It is a turn, sadly. If we're going to call 13, 14, 9, and 8 turns, 6 has to be a turn. But is it a braking turn? And if it's not a braking turn, this speed right here to 7 is going to be nuts.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Just especially like 3 to go.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see with them if that wall's going to be like all tires or...
Oh, yeah, this wall right here?
Yeah. Well, like turn 1 we know is
turn 1 is all tires.
I'm saying number 7.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So, but it
same
would also...
wall, just the other side?
Yeah, I mean...
So ridiculous.
I mean, I think there'll be an actual barrier in the middle of it, but I think there'll be a tire barrier that's probably 5 tires deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like kind of like the same thing that they do at the street course.
No, I know. I know what you're saying. I'm just saying it feels like we're racing lawnmowers right now. It feels like we're setting hay bales up and just making a...
We are.
Okay.
But that's NASCAR's favorite thing to do because it's the Roval.
It is the Roval.
I would hate to go back to a mile and a half, dude. The package is awful at mile and a half.
I'll say when the Roval came out, it was much needed.
Yes, it was.
And that's passed about 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
So that's where I stand on it. You ready to get into bets? I'm just saying, I really want you to tell everybody what happened.
Oh, did we hit a weekend, y'all? We hit a weekend finally. The 12 driver pick'em for the super speedways is now.
We need to find a name for that.
I know.
Because I think we need to do it every super speedway.
It's 1-1.
Yeah.
It's 1-1.
Every super speedway. So we'll think of a name of that.
Yeah. So we were up last week 0.35 units. You go down 3 when you bet 3. So we were down 2.65 before the weekend started. And we won 7.75 on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. winner. So we're up 5.1. So pretty much 5 units. You're up. If you've been telling me all year.
You're welcome.
Which is exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
You picked a hell of a time to do that.
We did. We did. And so... how I think the Roval will go is if SVG is racing in a road course, I will never not bet on him to win. He's at plus 500. He's the favorite at half a unit on SVG to win. I think that's not crazy.
Plus 500?
Yeah.
That's higher than I would have thought.
Yeah. And then to, I guess, a little bit more safety net, my next pick is SVG top 3, plus 140. So if he doesn't win, he has second and third to follow, which we know he's really good at losing races on the last lap, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I think he comes with a vengeance not to do that. If he finds his way up there, he will be on the winning strategy. He will not be on the make it to the end of the stage.
Points, yeah,
he won't be on that strategy at all. I think that plays into their hand because now they can play offense instead of defense instantly if you're not worried about getting any stage points.
Did you go a half unit on that?
Yeah, half unit on that too. So now I have 2 more units to play with. And I'm going back to the well that has not run dry in forever.
Alex Bowman,
Let's top
go.
10. I mean, he hasn't shown us anything that he's going to stop now.
That's true.
He's minus 120, so FanDuel's on to us. Road course, minus 120, full unit on his side end to win. I have no doubt in my mind. Out of the last 3, he's only missed 1 top 10. So
he's good here, too. Yeah. He's really good here.
He's good here. They're going to be fast. And then this one's kind of sneaky with my last full unit. Taking a bit of a risk here, but we're playing with house money this week, which is something we cannot say.
We could be conservative.
We could be, but we ain't. We ain't. So, Kyle Busch, top 5. The last 3 Rovals, he's had a top 5. Plus 280, 1 full unit. Kyle Busch.
He's plus 280 for a top 5.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Kyle Busch.
I don't like it. I don't like that. If he was like plus, I feel like that bet should be like plus 500.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They know something we don't. That he's good here. Last 3 rolls, he's finished top 5.
I know, it just seems like a
two third-place finishes and 1 fourth-place finish.
But he was in the playoffs every time that happened.
If there's anything that, to me, that is anything more to race for, and that's your win streak.
It ain't going to come with the Roval.
No, exactly, but it could come with a top 5. And then if you find out that you can dive bomb this corner right here, who's to say Kyle Busch ain't going to dive bomb somebody?
Me, he will not do that.
No, he probably won't, but I would love to see it.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I mean, I hope you're right, obviously, but I just... I
need to go back and look at every time Austin's felt so bad about a bet to see if it hits.
I think it's probably 50-50, but this one, like, I would bet against you that it's not going to hit.
Well, that's the easy road to take. If we could pick drivers not to finish in the top 10, that would be a pretty high list. A lot of the field.
I don't even think he finishes top 10.
Oh, no, no.
I promise you he doesn't finish. How much?
$10.
$10? Cowboys.
Top 10.
Okay.
Minimum. Yeah.
You all saw it here first.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. I feel like we made a bet on something else on there, and then we...
No, the only other bet that I made shaking my hand across the table was with Colby, and that SHR wasn't going to win a race, and they won a race.
Did he ever pay you?
No, I haven't received that money. Not that Colby's going to watch this or nothing.
No, that's fine. He owes me a bunch of bets.
Titan watches it.
To go to bed every night?
Yeah.
No, I just think that's a terrible bet.
Okay.
I mean, I do. I think there's a lot better bets you could have made. Personally. Okay. And
Kyle Busch to win the poll?
No, I think like Christopher Bell to win the poll. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, you can't bet on that in FanDuel, but I would love that. Either him or Joey. Joey's like a poll.
Now another bet I'd be interested in, like just to know what the odds are, is AJ Allmendinger to win the Xfinity race.
Have him
because I think he's won it every year except for one. Because Ty Gibbs won it.
Yeah.
The Roval was his first ever Xfinity race, and Ty Gibbs won. if I'm not mistaken.
I don't have it.
Don't have it?
Vandal. Let me check the king of bets, DraftKings.
I'm going to look how many times AJ's won it, because it's... And then he won the Cup race there last year, correct?
Yes.
So, this is really good TV.
This is really good stuff.
I'm just looking.
See, the problem is Shane is racing in that race.
Yeah, but Shane's not... I don't think that's... Well, I say that's not in Shane's wheelhouse, but that's almost like a stadium track.
He is minus on DraftKings. He's minus 125 to win the race. AJ Allmendinger's plus 275, and then the next three guys are plus 1,000. I just don't know how you bet against SVG.
So AJ's won the Roval. This is gonna blow your mind. I'm showing that he did not race the Roval in 2023 in Xfinity.
He could have, yeah, he could have been at a Cup. Was he full-time Cup?
He was full-time Cup.
Then he probably just didn't race there because they could only race so many. So that's exactly why he didn't race it.
He's raced the Roval 4 times in an Xfinity car.
He's won it every single time.
He's won it every single time.
Is that the bet you like?
I mean, I like that better than Kyle Busch top 5.
No.
I don't think Kyle Busch could get a top 5 at the Roval if he started 3 laps ahead.
No.
Why? So here's my only thoughts on that. And maybe you're right, but I bet you're not. Kyle Busch is not in the playoffs, right? So take that into consideration.
Yeah.
He's trying to... All right, at this point, all he's trying to do is chase a win.
Yes.
Okay? That's all he's trying to do. Kyle Busch knows about 100% sure it's not going to be at the Roval. Why would you even try? Just get out of the way. He's just going to get out of the way.
Because if you're in third place, you have the third fastest car.
He's not going to be in third place all day.
He has been at the last 3 Rovals.
When he had something to race for.
Hold on.
Okay.
When he had something to race for, whatever. I still think Kyle
Busch... Kind of important.
I still think Kyle Busch is not a Martin Truex. He's not going to lay down. If he sees any opportunity, like you said, I don't think he doesn't think it's 100% chance. No. I think he thinks it's probably a 30 or 40.
I think he thinks it's like a 2 or 3%
chance
that he can win. Yeah.
No.
Also take into account, it's Kyle Busch. He's getting older. He hates the gimmicks. This race is already a gimmick, and now we just gimmicked it up more with a random hairpin turn.
Maybe it helps him. Maybe he was bad at the old turn 6.
No chance. There'll be a wreck on like lap 10, and he'll be like, "This is ridiculous. I'm gonna do the absolute bare minimum so I can go home."
I think you're wrong.
To my smoking hot wife.
I mean, yeah, he's gonna do that anyway, and he would love to do it to win. Okay. SVG is gonna win. Kyle Busch is going to finish 2nd, and Alex Bowman is going to finish 7th.
That's absurd. That's
a sweet.
I'd give you plus 5,000 odds on that.
Yeah.
I'll let you parlay that at Austin Duel. Sportsbook. Yeah.
So if I put in $1, you're going to pay me $500.
Yeah.
Okay.
If those
all hit
exactly the way you just said.
So I have to have SVG win. I have to have SVG win.
We're gonna write it down.
Okay.
SVG win.
Yeah.
You said Kyle Busch 2nd.
Yes, I did.
Absurd.
Okay.
You said Alex Bowman 7th.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean Alex Bowman 6th.
Okay.
That doesn't mean Alex Bowman 8th.
He's nervous.
What'd I say? Plus
5,000.
5,000.
Yeah. So $1 wins me $500.
I think that's right. Yeah.
100 would win me 5,000. No, 10 would win me 500.
You want to just go ahead and let me hold on to the $1?
No.
Make it easier on you?
No. $1 wins me 50. That's what it is.
Is that right?
Yeah, because 100 would be 5,000. $10 would be 500.
Right.
$1 would be 50.
Okay. I'm more than comfortable with this.
Okay. Well, I may owe Austin $11 tomorrow.
That'd be $1.
Oh, we made a $10 bet that Kyle Busch or I may owe you $9.
I thought it was a $5 bet, but that's fine. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
$10 on Kyle Busch to finish in the top 10.
Okay.
And then we just bet $1 on what I just said.
I understand.
You're giving me plus 5,000 odds.
I understand now.
Okay. You may be the new sports book I'm working with here.
I would love to have you.
Yeah, you would.
If this is the things you want to bet on, I'll take it every day.
Yeah.
I'll quit my job.
Mm-hmm.
God bless. All right. Well, let's just recap these. So number 1, we're up 5 units. So if we absolutely, if a bomb hits the Roval, we're still walking away up 2 units.
Yep.
If I understand correctly.
Yep.
Okay. So no worries here. No reason to not tell Spencer this week. We're going to go a half unit SVG to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's plus 500. I think that's really good value. Half unit SVG top 3 plus 140. Still pretty good. 1 unit Bowman top 10 minus 120. I'm not going to call it guaranteed money and jinx us, but we have no other reason.
Yeah.
And then if you got 1 unit burn a hole in your pocket. And go ahead and follow Spencer on Kyle Busch top 5 plus 280.
Until I look like a genius.
Probably the worst bet you could ever make.
No. Not even close.
We'll see.
Not even close.
We'll see. I bet he finishes 22nd.
No.
It's just not going to be good. I don't understand. All right. I felt like we moved quite along. Pretty good time.
Yeah, we're at 111. So
111. All right. Let's have a 30-minute choose who zone. What do you think, guys?
They would love that. They would absolutely love that.
We're going to close it on out for you guys. Make it a little bit quicker. You need me to look away?
No.
Okay. We're going to get our choose who zone, so I'll let Spencer take over. Remind everybody of the rules.
Choose who zone. Hold on, let me move my stuff.
Can I get a Zen from you?
Yes, you can before we start.
Because I think it'll only take me 1 hint this week.
I think you can get it on just the facts.
You think so?
I think so. I think you should. If you have to use a hint, you're dog water.
Oh my God. Why'd you make it so easy?
I didn't. I just think you're dog water. All right. Choose who's zone.
I'm like Kyle Busch at the Roval.
Yeah, okay. Choose who's zone. Rules: 3 facts, 2 questions, 3 total guesses. He can trade out guesses for questions. First fact: born in Lakeland, Florida.
Lakeland.
I used to live in Lakeland, Tennessee.
Did you really?
Yeah. That was my place outside of Memphis. So if you're from around Memphis, you know Lakeland.
Yeah.
We drove through Lakeland on our way to Arkansas to watch us get whooped. But
we did, yeah.
Fact 2.
Florida.
Best finish in the series was 15th in 2000.
Why did you think I was going to get this?
Because this is so recent. This is like I was nervous that you'd get it on that one right there. That's what I thought. I thought you'd know it right away.
You think I was 4 years old? Remembered who? Here's the thing to remember. Just small detail. So we didn't have playoffs then.
Yeah.
So now it's like
you kind of remember.
You kind of remember.
16,
yeah, 15th like could have been a million points behind.
Yeah, that's true.
And irrelevant.
Fact 3. NASCAR Xfinity Series champion in 1992.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Ooh.
That's a big one. Questions.
Ooh.
Not sure what happened to my picture there.
The Lakeland, Florida thing. So I'm trying to think. Xfinity Series champion in 1992 is interesting. Because it obviously didn't translate to Cup, or he didn't get the opportunity.
Yep.
Assuming it's a he.
It could be.
Best finish 15th in 2000. This is one where I feel like if I ask what team it was, it might help.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask what team he was driving for in Cup in 2000. I'm going to be nice and not ask the number. Because I know if I asked a number on this one, I'd probably get it.
Yeah. Team in
2000 for his best finish.
The team in 2000 was Angie Petrie Racing.
I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that at all.
One more guess. One more question. 3 more guesses.
Ooh, I do kind of feel like I'm... No, I don't know. Who was he driving for when he was an Xfinity Series champion in 1992? I feel like that's going to be a bigger team. Like a Roush or something.
Nemco Motorsports.
So did you just give me the answer there?
Yeah.
Is it Joe Nemechek?
It is.
Nice.
Yeah. Good job.
I can't believe his best finish was because he drove for MB, I think it was MB2 in that 01 car.
Mm-hmm.
And he did really good.
Yeah. Not that good, though.
Not that good. Who was he driving? Okay, Andy Petrie in 2000. 33 car?
Andy Petrie 2000 was the 33.
You know what his nickname was? He's got a nickname.
No way. Is it a good one?
Yeah. Front Row Joe.
Front Row Joe.
Because he used to get a lot of poles.
Really?
Yeah.
And you said MB2?
Yeah.
He finished 16th.
16th? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew he was pretty decent in that. I want to say that's when he got a lot of his poles. But knowing Andy Petrie, he probably got a lot with Andy Petrie too. And his son is like a giant douchebag.
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of suck?
It does.
God, that sucks.
It is what it is, though.
I forgot they were from Florida.
Yep.
But he's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude.
Why'd you decide to make it so easy?
I mean,
I was taking too long.
No, not just that. I also felt try to keep the fans more engaged a
Yeah.
little bit. That was a lot of it, but I didn't think it was. I said it was easy. It wasn't that easy. I mean, you didn't know until you asked that one. Was he on the radar?
He was on the radar because I feel like when you said Florida, I was like, I just looked. So I'm really weird.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I'll just Wikipedia guys. And
I mean, you definitely should now since I'm
questioning
you.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just read his because someone had said something about him winning a race or something, and so I went back and looked. So I would imagine he's one of the NASCAR 75 greatest. If he's won an Xfinity championship, that's kind of crappy if they didn't. Honestly,
it really is. Honestly, at knowing the 75 people.
Yeah. They put Randy LaJoie, which he's a 2-time.
Yeah.
They put Sterling Marlin in there.
Mm-hmm. But he did stuff in the Cup Series.
Since we haven't hit our hour 40 mark yet, will you
want me to look at?
Just search that list and Control F it. Because I feel like if they didn't, that's kind of messed up. Because you've got guys on there that haven't won a championship in anything. For all I know, he was on the original 50 greatest. You know?
Yep.
Joe Nemechek. That was a good one. You should have outlawed that question.
I should have.
You should have vetoed it immediately.
I should have vetoed it immediately. I don't see his name.
Do a little Control F for me. Do you know this function? No, you did not hit the right thing.
That closed the whole window.
You did not press the right thing.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. Control. You know the control button?
Wouldn't know it.
Are you using the FN button? Is this a Mac?
No, this is a Windows.
Control F. What is happening? What?
I'm telling you.
There's no way.
This is a Windows.
Spitzer, there's no way.
This is.
Do you have your keys set up weird?
No, I don't know.
We're going to have a separate podcast
on how to use a computer.
On computer commands. I'm telling you. All right.
Why can't we just look through the names?
Because I get overwhelmed.
Hey, start row 1. You see his name?
It's
No.
It's in alphabetical order, it looks like. Okay,
So
he's not in the original 50.
And he's also not in.
Okay, let's look through here at a few people that like. I love Sterling Marlin, but how are you gonna put Sterling Marlin in there over Joe Nemechek?
You're not.
There's just some names I don't know, so I won't speak on them. Ernie Irvan, I feel like he won like 13 races, maybe.
Where's Ernie at?
On the original 50. Where's the bottom? Control F. No. Where's the bottom? Left. Down. Left. How many races?
A bunch of awards.
15.
Won 15. That's a lot.
But did he ever win a championship or anything?
Best finish 5th. Best finish 28th in Xfinity.
So this is a good, quick conversation to end on. What means more to you? 15 Cup wins, no championships, or an Xfinity championship?
Probably an Xfinity championship.
I think so too, especially in 92.
Yeah.
Especially
there was a lot. Today, if you ask me that question, like Ty's a. No, he didn't win the Xfinity Series championship.
Ty did, yeah.
Ty did, okay.
21.
Yeah. So he's an Xfinity Series champion. If he never gets a race win, I'm okay with still him being really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
now, granted,
very good.
Yeah. Now, granted, he's racing for Joe Gibbs. He's going to get a win. But at the same time, I mean,
I feel like this is hard to put into words, but I'd say there's like 10 in Xfinity today. There's like maybe 10 cars that can win.
Yeah.
And of those 10 drivers in those 10 cars, there's only like 7 that can win.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like,
no, it makes
there's
sense.
There's definitely people in cars capable of winning.
Yeah.
That as drivers are not capable of winning.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other drivers like a Parker Kligerman. You put him in a Joe Gibbs car. I'm not saying he's going to win every race, but I think he'd have 2 to 3 wins.
Yeah, in the Xfinity Series.
In the
for
Xfinity
sure.
Series,
Yes.
yeah. So that's so weird.
Yep.
All right. It just didn't take long enough time, so I wanted to.
No, I appreciate that. We have to meet our quota. Our sponsors say
right.
We had to get an hour and a half in.
This is Spencer's house on the screen.
Yeah, this is where I live. This is one of my chambers that I have that we're in right now. That's why the audio is so terrible, because I live in a castle.
Right.
Yeah, the
in
acoustics
Pennsylvania.
are terrible. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready to close this thing out? I feel like
I think so, man.
That's crazy. I don't understand
quick.
that. So I will say that we went to Arkansas this weekend, and we had a 10. It really turned into like 11-hour drive back. But we put the race on. Colby and Spencer watched it in the back seat. So I was listening to it.
Slept through an hour and a half of it.
Slept through an hour and a half. Watched as many highlights as I could. So I definitely did my research for y'all, and Spencer did too. But just still feels like I didn't watch it. I don't know why.
It's just driving. I couldn't even tell you what we did on Sunday, honestly.
Yeah, well, we sat in the car all day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know we did that.
I can tell you because I was paying attention.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm glad somebody was. I was not.
It was me.
Yeah. Good.
So maybe we'll have a little bit better content for y'all, or maybe y'all like this length. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably love it. They're going to eat it up. The grippers.
The grippers. Yeah, that's the other thing. We still need a name for y'all. I don't know how to make it something with a flag. I feel like.
I don't know. It's got to be a flag.
Or green.
The greeners.
Like the green machine.
The green machine. That's not bad.
The green machine out there.
That's better than grippers.
That is better than grippers. There's a lot of things better than grippers.
A long
in this context.
Yeah.
But anyway,
the Gunners.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We're gonna close it out here. What are you watching this weekend?
I guess I'm watching at home. Okay. I'm going to
Florida
Florida this weekend. Yeah. So maybe Nico won't run out of bounds on the last play if we need him to score.
Oh my God.
Whole nother conversation or a whole nother pod. So.
Yeah. drop the disappointment.
Yeah, golly, what a disappointment.
Yeah, but we had a good time. We're gonna be not traveling this weekend, so
it's gonna feel amazing.
I know. I'm probably just gonna watch at home. Hate to be selfish, but
yeah,
probably won't.
I got a new Blackstone, so
yeah. You have to learn.
Yeah, I know. I've been learning.
Cooked
on it last night.
How was that?
I thought I oiled it enough times and it's still stuck, so I don't know.
Part of it. Yeah. Part of it, I'm telling you.
I oiled it. They said you only need to do it 3, so I did it 5.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I seasoned mine for hours.
Yeah.
Hours. Just bacon and onions, that's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, we appreciate y'all watching.
Thank you, guys.
Hopefully the audio is a little bit better this week. As always, thank you to Spencer for setting this all up.
Yeah.
He works hard. It's a work in progress. It's not for a lack of effort. I can tell you that now.
It is not. If you can stay with us, I don't mean to get off on anything. Stay with us. Next year is going to be a whole new pod. It will be. I promise you. I've looked at everything that we need. What we're getting into. I'm super excited, but that's not to. We're not also going to brush everything that we've worked to up until this point.
Right.
So we're going to finish the year out strong. But stay with us. Spotify, Apple, they're coming. That'll be a next year thing. But stay with us for sure. Our content's great. Our podcast is great. Our topics are great.
Yep.
You know what I got to say?
No matter what anyone says.
Yeah. Audio, skeptical.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. But for sure. But thank you, guys. Thank you, Austin. Let's get out of here, man.
We'll see y'all.
See you.